Oh, damn. So this one is... Nope. March 15th. That wasn't it. Right, he was born the 15th. Yeah. Ben's birthday. 8 digits is, woo, that's a lot. Never figured out what's to do with the counter. Jesus, it's so random. I mean, 4004. Where did they get the 4004 from? Bingo? That's so weird. Where did the 4004 come from? Oh, Jesus. This one, I checked the guide. Oh, no, yeah. No. I got that much. I was like, I don't know where the hell the 4004 came from. Okay. I got notes and I got the... Or else we would have been here for hours. Oh no, yeah. True that. Oh, domestic violence. There it is. This man is small peepee. Ben is small peepee. Domestic violence equals cycle. Manifests progressively within a relationship, initially tension and hostility. Cycle is 4 phases. Tension phase. Irritability of the perpetrator was attributed to work stress, traffic issues, etc. No physical violence, but hostile silences, aggressive looks, irritable tone, etc. Everything the victim does is a source of irritation to the perpetrator. The stress and frustration is always the victim's fault. The victim tries to find out what's wrong, but is faced with responses like, no, it's nothing. I don't know why you're complaining, etc. Eventually leads to verbal aggression and insults. The victim regrets asking. Aggressive phase. The perpetrator appears to be losing control. Yelling, insults, threats, breaking objects, often leading to physical violence. Progressive physical violence, pushing, arm twisting, slaps, punches, use of a weapon. The victim is overwhelmed by feelings of powerlessness and sadness rather than anger. Excuses phase. The perpetrator tries to deny or downplay his behavior. He finds an explanation that shifts the blame into the victim. Of the victim's fault or the result of external pressure. He promises to change. Says that everything will be fine, that he'll see a psychologist. More promises. Emotional blackmail. I need you. I'm nothing without you. I would die without you. Reconciliation phase. Honeymoon period. The perpetrator is suddenly attentive, considerate, showers the victim with gifts, etc. Perpetrator is very sincere, fearing that the victim will really leave him. He begs for forgiveness. Renewed hope for the perpetrator will really change, but this simply raises the victim's tolerance threshold of violence. The victim thinks they can cure him, help him, etc. The victim was frightened during the aggressive phase, but this phase persuades him to stay. The phase repeats itself and spirals into a vicious cycle. The victim eventually perceives this violence as normal, and their life can be at serious risk if it continues. Jekyll and Hyde behavioral patterns. Very true. All of that is very true. I know that because of research. Only thing I want to say is that the abuser can also be female. Doesn't just have to be male. Women abuse men too. It's definitely less common, but it does happen. Only small little nitpick. But again, with the story, this is a woman, so I just want to put that out there. Okay. Physical and psychological violence are linked. There's no physical violence without the psychological violence that precedes it. Psychological violence, a series of attitudes and comments to denigrate, destabilize, and hurt other people. This is not a unique event, but is an integral part of the relationship. It is intended to subdue the other, control them, and maintain the feeling of power. Subtle mistreatment without physically striking, creating tension, frightening the victim to demonstrate his power. Difficulty to quantify and evaluate, because it's subjective and depends on the level of sensitivity of each victim. Several types of behavioral patterns and attitudes that can be considered microaggressions, control, possessive vocabulary, monitoring the victim maliciously in order to dominate and command them. Ergo, taking control of mealtime, sleep, spending, social life, etc. Isolation. Isolating the victim from family, friends, colleagues, social acquaintances. The perpetrator ensures the victim's life is essentially focused on him exclusively. Ergo, taking the victim's phone, computer, etc. Insinuations and lies about other people in the victim's life. Isolation is both a cause and consequence of mistreatment. Pathological jealousy. Jealous behavior, constant suspicion, unfounded accusations of intent, etc. No basis in reality. Requires the victim's continuous and exclusive presence. There's no way of appeasing pathological jealousy because it is simply denial of reality. Harassment. Repeating a message to exhaust mental and critical judgment capacities of the victim to make them accept anything monitoring the person. Following the victim in the street, harassing them on the phone, waiting for the victim as she leaves work. Harassment often occurs after a breakup. There we go. Denigration affects the victim's self-esteem, making them believe they are worthless. Dismissive attitudes and hurtful words causes the victim to lose self-confidence. Express doubts about the victim's mental health degenerates their intellectual abilities, their body appearance, etc. Launches a systemic attack on the victim's family, friends, and her children. This can happen with words that appear to be sincere and normal. Humiliation. Disparages, ridicules, and acts in a disrespectful way towards the victim. This is merely an outlet for the perpetrator's anger, ergo mocking, spitting the victim's face, making crude noises, urinating on the victim, creating a feeling of shame that serves as an additional obstacle to prevent the victim from talking about their concerns. Intimidation. Exhibits acts of indirect violence, ergo on the environment, breaking objects, slamming doors, driving too fast, cruelty towards a pet, etc. Shows the victim that physical violence could happen to them too, creates a feeling of fear in the victim. Indifference to emotional demands, refusal to show any concern for the victim. Insensitivity, making a show of rejection or contempt. Intentionally creates a situation of lack and frustration, refusing to communicate, going to family events, etc. Disregarding the physical or psychological state of the other. Threats. Blackmail, threats of suicide, threats to withhold money, to abduct children, etc. Threats of retaliation against the family or entourage. Maintaining power over the victim. Some of these acts can seem normal when isolated, but when they happen repeatedly over a long period of time to the same person, they become a form of violence. The perpetrator takes advantage of the emotional weakness of the victim, wearing them down mentally. Yep, it's all true. It's true. Everything. Now, where are them secret messages? Let's start with Amir. Hi Amir, it's Laura, Ben's girlfriend. I just wanted to know if you're still friends with Claire. Don't tell Ben I asked you. Hi Laura, yeah, why? Ben told me she tried to end his relationship with his ex Julia while they were still together because she wanted to date him herself. Is this true? No, I don't think so. Anyway, Claire was dating Oliver at the time. Claire told me that Ben was violent with Julia. Do you think that's true? Let's say Julia was a complicated girl, but I got the impression there were times when he really lost it with her. I advised Ben to see a therapist or join a support group for people with anger issues, but he wouldn't listen. You still remained friends with him? Yeah. Why didn't you tell me this before? I don't know. What goes on in Ben's private life is none of my business. It's ancient history now. Yeah, well, you could have at least warned me. Listen, I already told him to get some help. I did what I could. Interesting. Alright, here we go. Oh. The secrets. Whoop. No. No, no, no. You have one new email from Laura. Oh, interesting. Wait, did I read this already? June, okay. Oh, duh. Everything has a cloud. Okay. Just making sure. Small brain. Very tired. Reread everything I will. Nope. Reread everything from here. There we go. Hi Laura, how are you feeling today? So. Why are you texting me on my work phone? After you told me about your guy, I wanted to text you something you couldn't read the message. Anyway, I suggest you use a password to lock your work phone. Never unlock it in front of him. He already flew into this heavy jealous rage when I wanted to lock my personal phone, so I don't think that's a good idea. What do you mean heavy? He yelled at me and said I was hiding things from him. He accused me of having a lover and said I didn't really love him. That I was locking my phone because I didn't trust him. Okay, I get it. That's bad. It's not normal, you know. I don't know, but at the same time, I understand him. He needs reassurance to know that I love him. Don't you think it's a mark of trust in the other person to let them see the contents of your phone? No, I disagree. A real mark of trust would be to believe the other person and not always feel the need to have proof of their love and faithfulness by snooping through their phone. Snooping. Plus, it's important for both partners to have their own secret garden. Listen, for him it's not really negotiable. He's been lied to in the past, he needs some reassurance. Yeah, I get it, but it's not great. If you want a reason for locking your phone, you just have to say, Michael insisted on it. What do you mean? So, lock your work phone, tell him it was Michael's orders. He wants the work phones to be more secure because the phone contains confidential work stuff. Yeah, okay, I don't see why I wouldn't even lie to him though. It's unhealthy not to have a space where you can grouch about your relationship occasionally without him knowing. Yeah, but if I'm having a relationship problems, I should just talk to him, shouldn't I? Sure, but it's sometimes good to talk to your girlfriends to have another point of view. Okay, I'll lock this phone. How are you? Exhausted. I've been running for an hour. Wow, congratulations. Where do you go running now? It's been a while since we bumped into each other at the park. It's hardly surprising because I run in a treadmill. We have at home now. So we did abuse her. Small PP up. Well, those things are expensive, aren't they? It was a present from Ben. Pretty silly gift, huh? I mean, you can run a site for free. Yeah, but it's so handy. I can run when I want to. And don't get harassed in the street by stupid men. Since when have stupid men stopped you from running? Well, that's true, but Ben was worried about me. He prefers me not to go out. Wait a second, what do you mean he prefers you not to go out? Yeah, he's afraid something might happen to me. But you do go out, don't you? You go shopping, meet friends. You still meet Amelia, Elsa. I get the shopping delivered, it's easier, and I'm talking to my friends less and less at the moment. Why is that? Oh, you know, you tend to have fewer friends as time goes on, and when you're in a relationship, you don't see people as much. But you still see Emma, don't you? Not really. Since I've been with Ben, things have been a little complicated. Nearly all of my friends have faded away. I'm starting to wonder if they're jealous. What do you mean jealous? Well, you know, I'm one of those rare and lucky people among my girlfriends who found a job they love, and my life with Ben is fabulous. Not only am I happy in my relationship, but he has money too, so financially I'm living in a fairy tale. Well, they're struggling. And you think you're keeping their distance because they're jealous? That's the only explanation Ben and I could come up with. Sad, but there it is. Laura, I'm sorry to tell you this, but Ben's behavior isn't normal. He's the one who's jealous. I get the impression he's controlling you, that he's isolating you. Don't be ridiculous. I'm saying this based on what you're telling me. He's jealous and wants to read the contents of your phone. He controls you by not letting you go out on your own. He's manipulating you with the treadmill gift. He's isolating you from your girlfriends by insinuating they're jealous of you. This is not normal. This doesn't happen in a normal relationship. He has a problem. You always focus on the negative. It's not like that at all. Charlotte, I swear it's nothing to worry about. Okay, he has his faults, but nothing serious. No, he has a problem. And of course you're blind to it. You're madly in love with him. Okay, so you have your own take on things and just won't let it go. You're a pain in the ass. I guess it's useless talking to you. Sorry if I'm interfering and it's none of my business, but I'm worried. Like I told you, everything's fine. Leave me alone. I'm here if you need me. Hi, Laura. How are you? I don't know if you're mad at me, but I still consider you my friend and I'm here if you need me. Just to wish you a very happy birthday. Hope everything's okay with you. Hi, thanks for the happy birthday message. How are you at the moment? Not great, I have to say. What's up? One of Ben's former friends contacted me and said some terrible things about him that have really upset me. I can imagine. Have you mentioned it to Ben? No. Really, why? She told me she had a history of violent behavior with his ex and it's really freaking me out. But then Ben already told me about this girl and how she was in love with him and would do anything to have her to herself. I don't know what to think. Okay, so how do you feel about it? My first reaction was not to believe her, but then I thought about everything you said and started to realize that I should leave him. And I've given it some serious thought, especially as he's been pretty difficult to live with recently. He was so sweet on my birthday, so I'm confused. He's aware of his faults, which means he knows he's too possessive and he does apologize. His work is really exhausting. Sometimes he drinks a little too much to unwind and then says things he doesn't really mean. Alcohol is no excuse for bad behavior, but he knows when he's gone too far. And my birthday was so romantic. He took me away on a surprise weekend. It was fantastic. I really felt like I'd rediscovered the Prince Charming I once knew. Aren't you scared to start over? No, not at all. He even promised to see a psychoanalyst to address his anger management issues. Okay, keep me posted on how the situation develops, alright? Okay, promise? Promise. Hi, how are you? Did things get better with Ben? No. What do you mean? Since he worries about me all the time, he got me to install an app so I can quickly send him my GPS coordinates if I have a problem. Basically, it was meant to be a really practical thing, so if I was attacked or anything, I could in theory discreetly press a button to let him know where I was. Then he wanted me to use it at a specific time to reassure him so he knew I was safe at home. So I was sending him a message every lunchtime, then it turned into twice a day, then 3 times, and finally every hour. And the other day I went to go get a coffee, and when I used the app, it told him I was out. When he came back that night, he went into this massive jealous rage. It made no sense. He was convinced I was meeting another guy at the cafe, and he just got this idea into his head, and he was yelling at me. It was horrible. I just let him yell at me. I was paralyzed in fear. He wouldn't let me sleep that night. As soon as I dozed off, he'd wake me up again and demand I tell him the name of the person I was at the cafe with. The next morning at breakfast, I told him I'd had enough and couldn't go on like this. Then his attitude totally changed. He told me he was nothing without me and I meant everything to him. He was scared of losing me, that he didn't know what he would do without me. I'd really like to leave him, but I'm scared to, I'm frightened for him. He needs me to help him get better. It's not you he needs. It's a therapist. I thought he was going to see a psychoanalyst. He made an appointment, but had to cancel because he was busy at work that day. Don't you get the feeling it's the same old pattern? He behaves badly. He's written to leave, he apologizes, and you change your mind. Listen, there's a conference followed by a support group meeting held by an association supporting victims of domestic violence. I've got a friend who works there. I'm going. I'd really like you to come with me, okay? I'm not a victim of domestic violence. Ben never hit me. Okay, so he's never hit you. But sometimes when you talk, I get the feeling you're suffering psychological abuse, and the conference will be tackling that issue too. What do I know? I'm not an expert. It could be interesting to meet them, don't you think? Worst case scenario, you'll see that it doesn't apply to you, and at best you'll learn something about domestic abuse. It happens a lot, but people tend not to talk about it. You can at least find out, surely. So what do I tell Ben the reason why I'm not there when he gets back? Tell him you're having a drink with me. I'll bring you home. That way he'll see you're not with another guy. Okay, when is it? Next Thursday after work. Well, why not? I'll drop by and pick you up. How are you feeling today? Bad. I didn't get a week of sleep last night. I kept going to read the notes I took during the meeting. There were so many things I recognized in Ben's behavior. It scares me. I feel so dumb and stupid for not realizing earlier. I've been so blind and you were so right. No, you're not stupid. The important thing is that you've woken up to what's going on. You're a strong woman and brave. I've been so dumb to allow myself to be manipulated like that. I guess I should leave him. I don't know what to do. I don't even have a place of my own anymore. You can come and stay with me if you need to, when you're ready. Thank you so much, Charlotte. I'm so lucky that I can count on you when I think of all the women taking up